They should start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley. Mr. Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And joining us today, the co-host of the Dateless Losers podcast. Which
The coast. Why are you laughing already?
It cracked me up last night.
Well, it's
too.
just the
And
title.
I know. It's a funny title. First of all, say your name.
Atif Myers, everybody.
Welcome, Atif. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. First of all, it's a dating podcast. Second of all, Gregory Aramcrashmania and I were just very shitty at dating. And third of all, we got real big fish to be like, it's cool if you use our song.
Well, that's awesome.
So, yeah. That's why it's the title.
No, it's we did a show last night actually downtown, and
yeah.
I cracked up when Jerry Brandt announced you guys to the stage. They're like, they're the host of the Dateless Losers podcast. I'm like, you know what? It's hilarious.
It works. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's a funny title. Yeah. Well, yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. It's exciting.
So we were talking downstairs a moment ago. This is Atif, who I've known pretty much since I moved here in 2012. It's a person I see around all the time. A very funny comedian.
Thank you.
A big wrestling fan.
Yeah, I love wrestling.
Just like all of us. So
Yeah, so a warning for those of the listeners that don't like the wrestling episodes, Jennifer Sachs, Gabriel Rossman.
Wait,
sorry.
your wife and your boss?
He's not my boss.
Oh, well, whatever.
He's my friend now.
Yeah, your peer.
Yeah, my peer.
Your colleague.
Colleague. There we go.
Colleague,
That's the
yeah.
word.
No, there's some people that listen to the wrestling one, they're like, what are they talking about?
We'll make it funny.
Yeah,
we'll make it funny.
All right, we'll make
Yeah,
it funny.
yeah.
Don't worry.
We
It's
always
still gonna be
do.
funny. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so we have we've chatted about wrestling in the back of many comedy type spaces all over
Yes,
the Los
we
Angeles.
can't even say clubs, just shitty bars.
Yeah, because it's not clubs. It's
No.
it's the other door in
The other door are just
know-
random depressing bars in the valley. But yeah, no, wrestling's, I love, oh my God, I love the fuck out of it.
Have you been a fan your whole life?
Yeah, since my dad got me into it. My dad essentially got me into all this nerd shit when I was like 4.
What else did he get you into?
Like Final Fantasy.
Oh, did you play the first one? The one for Nintendo?
Yeah, the regular one for Nintendo. Everybody's lined up on the side and shit.
Oh, that one was awesome.
That one was fucking great. I was 4 years old just fucking playing it. And then watching wrestling, where early 90s wrestling was just like so bad.
Oh, yeah.
It was like fucking, like I would watch Hulk Hogan versus Zeus, a.k.a. Debo from Friday.
AKA Z Gangsta.
Yes. And I think Hulk Hogan hit him with like a brick or some shit. Someone hit him with a brick to win SummerSlam '89. Right? It might have been Macho Man. Someone hit him with a brick. and everybody cheered. And like no one was like, this is an assault. This is like a fucking crime. There, it's like, this is awesome.
Then Ice Cube hit him with a brick years later.
Yeah.
He doesn't learn. He just does not learn his lessons.
That's
Well,
Tiny
life-
Lister's
life-
kryptonite.
Life imitates art.
Gets knocked the fuck out.
It's by bricks.
Tiny Lister, Tiny Zeus Lister, has had a long and successful career, but it was business exposing when they brought him in with that Zeus gimmick in 1989. Because I remember kids in the schoolyard saying, there's this movie, you can go to the video store. It's called Armed and Dangerous with John Candy, and it's got Zeus in it.
Yeah.
He's an actor. He ain't a real wrestler.
Yeah.
He is not, in fact, a god from Mount Olympus. He is
No, he's not a slow-eyed, a dark god from Mount Olympus.
Did you say slow-eyed?
Yeah.
He had that-
Yeah, he had the eye that was...
I know. I just never heard slow-eyed, and it sounds more technical.
I remember when he came back, right? I remember when he came back for that triple cage match.
Yes.
Where it was like everybody who was bad in WCW versus Hulk Hogan and Macho Man.
The alliance to destroy Hulkamania.
Yeah, exactly. And they brought in Tiny Lister, and they couldn't use the IP from WWF from way back. This was 1996, so it's like
strictly
six-year-old IP, right? So they called
Zeus
him.
should be in the public domain.
Yeah,
It
exactly,
really should.
exactly. But they
It's a
called him.
Greek god.
They called him the Z Gangsta. And all he did was he like would bug his eyes out, and he had like the Z thing, right? And then he would bounce his pecs really fast.
Yes.
But he wasn't like as muscly as he kind of had a gut ski. So it was just like kind of like slightly fat, flabby, tiny lister pecs just jumping up and down. Like he perfected the muscle
His
memory.
tiny listers.
But the muscle was buried under a little bit of fat. And it looked hilarious. And he just would walk around the ring just like, you know?
I think as a kid, I tried to keep doing that with my pecs. Just like making my titties dance. Because all the wrestlers did that.
You know, somewhere like at the University of South Carolina, there's a frat boy who can do that with. He's got the man tits and he can jiggle them. You know, surely that guy exists.
Yeah, I'm trying them right now. It's fun. Yeah, it's very therapeutic.
So, what's the first match that you actually remembered watching?
Oh, that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because we had it on VHS and we would just fucking watch it like all the time. And I just also remember being a huge fan of like Razor Ramon and the 1, 2, 3 Kid. And
hell yeah.
And I would get like any little piece of wood, put it in my mouth for like a second, and throw it in people's faces. I was just such a douchey little kid where I just fucking flick twigs in people's faces.
Razor Ramon, I think, really appealed to the kids because when he went out there and he said that shit like, Niños, you don't need no education.
I was like, this is my guy. This slick back
kids
dude.
really took that to heart, man.
Yeah, the chicas.
He was
they
the
for
coolest.
fun, man.
Actually, he was the coolest fucking
Pat
guy.
is a world-class toothpick flicker.
One of my favorite Razor. There's like 2 great Razor Ramon things. One was the when Lex Luger beat Yokozuna by count out at that SummerSlam after the bus tour. Everybody comes out. All the good guys come out to put Lex Luger on their shoulders, right? And everybody's like waving American flags. And Razor Ramon has like 2 American flags, and he's just like waving them around, doing the little like T-Rex hands, and just doing it in the most like just like like the way possible. And then the other one, he was on the Jerry Springer show, where it was like it was just where there were like 2 kids. One of them's like named Hydea, who did a lot of like stuff with. She was like a young...
a lot of ideas.
Well, no, Heidi. She was a young girl that had AIDS.
Oh, she's a young girl.
She had
in the
HIV.
mountain. Oh, that's Heidi.
Whoa.
And there was another little boy that had HIV. Their big thing was that they had like Razor Ramon show up and give them the IC strap. And he was like, listen here, you 2 are the real champions. So you get it one day, man. And you get it another day, man. And it was just that's amazing. And he was out full Razor Ramon gimmick, not like pants or anything like that. He's wearing the Razor tights, and the cheesy vest.
And looking back on it now, like he was probably just high out of his mind doing this.
Well, the Razor is probably a Coke reference as it is.
Yeah, it is.
What a fucking great memory, by the way. God, well, how could you forget?
So if you saw him, you'd say, Mr. Ramon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see what you'll say to him. Here he is.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Razor.
Oh, they play the music.
And this little kid's like, who is this guy?
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. So you got to follow us on Twitter. We're at The Goods Pod. We'll put this up on our Twitter so you can see it.
Is he still like super oiled up? He looks
He's
very
oiled up.
He's
Like,
got the
in
whole
full-
outfit
And
on.
like, the
Hey,
thing with-
Jerry, you got any baby oil, man?
No, the thing that's amazing about Razor Ramon Scott Hall is that he has a hairy chest and he's still oiled up, so he's got the glistening like
fuck yeah.
chest hair.
And good for him to rock the chest hair.
The greasy chest hair, too. He works with the character.
Razor Ramon.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
T-shirt for you, baby doll.
Strong like bull.
You can sleep.
Shut up, Jerry.
Got one for you too,
Strong
buddy. I've been
like
looking for you, man. I heard you. Is it true that he was talking bad about me?
No, he said he was going to call you Mr. Ramon when you came in. He did say immediately. You were his favorite.
Oh.
Apparently he's dead.
He's wearing the belt. He's just sitting back wearing the belt like it's a belt.
This is amazing.
Yeah. He rules.
He's the fucking greatest.
He's a real
I look
sweetheart
at you, Razor,
tonight.
and obviously I can't imagine there's anyone around that would have your strength or could.
I don't see anybody in this audience.
Yeah.
I just want to say, and I want Tyler and Hydea to know this, and I think they already do know this, that where I come from It ain't how many times you go down, it's how many times you get up. You ain't beat. You ain't beat till you quit. So if you don't quit, you never lose.
That's fucking inspirational.
That's inspirational.
That's so good.
And he's doing it in gimmick.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What
Yo,
a wonderful. Wow.
Where I'm from, in Apopka, Florida, man.
That's awesome.
It's fucking beautiful.
Wow.
Well, that just gives us hope to just keep on living and trying.
No, that's amazing. You really made my day showing me that.
I think you made
Sincerely.
everybody's day.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was just
Razor
something
rules,
special. I
dude.
feel like the Indian on that commercial when you throw the garbage.
I think
just crying a single tear.
Razor
here,
Ramon
man.
also amazing name for a cat.
Yeah.
That would be a great name for a cat.
Any
Razor
pet.
Ramon.
a dog, like a little
kid.
Yes. A kid named Razor?
Yeah.
Dude, he's
Razor Ramon.
even like a girl named Razor. It's
Yeah.
fucking tough as shit. That's a strong ass woman.
Ramon.
Razor Ramon Myers.
Now appearing on stage at the Vegan Strip Club in Portland, Razor Ramon.
I just always was not. I was never a fan of Hulk Hogan because I thought the leg drop was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I
funny.
mean?
It wrecked the action figure after a while.
Yeah.
It also wrecked his hip.
It wrecked and his back. He was like,
both of them.
too
And it
much
didn't even
shorter.
look that good.
No.
Because if it's not going to look that good, at least don't bother at all like Jimmy Valiant.
It's funny though.
Like I don't know. Like I also loved Bret Hart and but because he was just so fucking technical. And
Yeah.
just seeing somebody who fucking wins matches by leg dropping people, I'm like, this is bullshit. This guy is putting on clinics and you're finishing people with that fucking move. Even as a kid, I was like, this is bullshit.
Well, to be fair, a lot of WWF champions do get into a formulaic style.
no,
but
of course.
it got to the point, though, where if Hulk was going to kill somebody in real life and shoot them with a gun, he would have to give them a leg drop after he shot them.
The
Same
leg drop.
finish.
It's just so funny though when you
Well, and
watch
the big boot, it looks good from the cheap seats, and all the Hulk Hogan shit looked good from the cheap seats. That
Yeah.
the behind the ear, the pose down,
course.
the big boot, it all looks good. I
And
mean,
the video game, I don't know if you guys ever played the video game on like N64.
Oh,
but
which one? World Tour or Revenge?
NWO,
all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But just I never picked him because he was so fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
He didn't have many moves. I don't even think he had a fucking vertical suplex. It was the worst.
Although it is funny when you watch matches with Hulk Hogan in Japan, completely different.
Really?
He's busting out insiguris. He's busting out arm drags. He's doing
What?
like real wrestling stuff.
he always
Like,
worked much harder in Japan than he did in the States.
Really?
yeah, there's like a match that I saw where he was wrestling like the Great Muda,
Yeah.
and like bro like does a insiguri. He's throwing drop kicks.
Wow.
He's like doing arm drags, and so he takes the mist to the face. It rules. You know?
Yeah, you won't be over in Japan if you can't try.
Oh yeah.
Why the fuck can you do that? Well, I guess he didn't have to.
Yeah,
He didn't have
Didn't
to.
have to because
And he was
everybody
working like a
came
harder
for
schedule.
the leg drop
Yeah,
and the big
and the
boot
fucking and
the whole thing
and the shaky not selling your move
Yeah,
thing.
hulking up.
Hulking up
Yes.
because it's like when you went to see the Peter Pan play
Yeah.
and Peter Pan dies and like all the kiddies have to yell at Tinkerbell to bring Peter Pan back to life. All the kiddies cheering for Hulk Hogan, they Hulk him up. So it was like audience participation in every one of his matches.
Yeah, but as a kid, if you knew Peter Pan would have a fucking like lightsaber and could do doper shit, but he's only doing that in the Japanese version, you'd be pissed. You'd be fucking pissed.
Well, you know what it is? It's what happens to all the big baby faces, all the good guys in wrestling. There's a point where it gets old.
Yeah, I'll give you
It
that.
gets old, but it still sells. And that was a conundrum Hogan was in the 90s, and that's why he turned heel.
Oh yeah, that was
Well,
great.
No, but I like the point in which he was trying to hold on to the good guy thing, where he would just pull out all the like smoke and mirrors, like the Dungeon of Doom, or
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm gonna bring. It's just like I'm bringing Shaquille O'Neal with me, brother, and Mr. T, brother, and a monster truck, brother, and it's just like, just stop it. Like there's one thing where he was like feuding with the friggin' Giant. and he like rolls up in his Harley, right? I think he was doing like the dark
dark side of Hulkamania.
Yeah, the dark side of Hulkamania thing. And he's like rolling, but like
sheet.
the thing is that like he's burning Meltzer's dirt sheet. But he rolls
on the dirt sheet, brother.
Yeah, I know. It's called a dirt sheet, dude, and it's exactly what it is, man. You know. But he rolls up on this Harley.
Yeah.
And there's like all these kids and there's like two guys in like hard hats, just like, yeah, Hulkster. And it's just like, dude, this is so stupid.
It's very dumb.
You are like past your shelf date, you know?
It was like trying too hard. It was like when Van Halen was past it and they were still trying to put on them big kind of tours.
Yeah. And then the giant ran over his Harley with a monster truck, hence the monster truck match. You know?
This is Andre's shirt, brother.
God, they were just fucking burning money in the 90s.
They burned through it. How much money did they spend? Remember when they had Kiss come in and do the Kiss wrestler, the Kiss demon?
No.
You don't remember that?
Oh, the demon. Yeah, that was
it was Crush, wasn't it?
1999
Was
era?
it Crush? Was he the demon?
No. So there was like it was Dale Torborg, who was the son of Jeff Torborg, the manager for like the Montreal Expos and the Florida Marlins. And I remember distinctively one time after he was the Kiss Demon, he was working as a strength and conditioning coach for the Marlins, and I used to go to Marlins spring training games because the stadium was by my parents' house, right?
Yeah.
So like spring break, I go down watch spring training ball, and there was a bench clearing brawl where like Vladimir Guerrero Vlad Guerrero went at Brad Penny with a baseball bat for pegging him. So bench clearing brawl. Dale Torborg, the former Kiss Demon, who's like 6'7" and weighs like 300 pounds, and he has like the baseball hat with the ponytail pulled out the back, comes out like he was fucking RoboCop and just starts throwing people, and he picks up Vlad Guerrero and just throws him like a sack of potatoes. And I was just like, Jesus. But yeah, that was Dale Torborg. There was like, because there was a phase where it was like the Kiss wrestler, the Misfits were involved.
Yeah.
And then like they were wrestlers, and then like the No Limit Soldiers.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And after Shaka.
Explain what the hell we're talking about. So Silk the Shocker, late 90s, No Limit Soldier rapper, got involved with a late era WCW group.
No.
What?
So the larger story was that Master P's cousin wanted to be a pro wrestler. This guy Swole, he wrestled as Swole or something. He's a former football player, and he wanted to get into wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Master P finagles with Eric Bischoff, who owns WCW. It's like, yo, we should cross promote, because this was back when, I think it was around the time in which Ghetto D came out, like right after Ghetto D came out. We should cross promote with WCW, because he didn't say like I just want to get my cousin in. It's like, we'll cross promote, just pay me a bunch of money to hang out because I'm popular, right? And he basically used it as a backdoor to get his cousin in, who was a hideous pro wrestler. And then they feuded with Kurt Hennig, who was like they were
West
like
Texas
the West Texas
the
rednecks.
epic rap versus country music,
and
feud.
they came off as they were like
shit.
the No Limit Soldiers were supposed to be the good guys, right?
But they came off like assholes.
Yeah, they came off like assholes because there was like one like thing where like Kurt Hennig was talking crap about rap. And then he was just like, then Silk the Shocker had, a birthday party thing, right? Where it was just basically like all the crew in there with like Brad Armstrong magically being a like No Limit Soldier.
And they're all going hootie hoo.
Yeah.
If I may, this all sounds completely absurd because it is. Like it's it sounds like a drama.
Yeah.
But this is still wrestling. Like, this could easily be an episode of like early 2000s Entourage.
This was like, what the hell had happened to professional wrestling? Because can you picture Gordon Soley talking about like the No Limit Soldiers and their battle cry of hootie hoo?
They are about it, and route it.
There's Silk the Shocker.
Jim Cornette fucking would have hated this. He probably hates the fuck out of this so much.
Conan and the Filthy Animals. They have teamed up with recording artist Master P.
Absurd.
You know?
Wait, so what happened?
But so they had the whole crew, and then for some reason they needed a real wrestler, so they got Brad Armstrong to cut his mullet off and then put on like camouflage pants and be a member of the No Limit Soldiers, like which I guess I hope they gave Brad Armstrong a professional, like a rap contract, right? Like,
I would listen to that.
I listen to that. You know?
It's gotta be better than Macho Man's album.
Yeah. And Kurt Hennig came out and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry for talking trash about your genre of music. It's your birthday. As a peace offering, I'm going to give you this hat." And it was like a Resitol, like black cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And Silk the Shocker like stomps on it and stuff like that. And like they just started chanting "Hootie Hoo," and they were like, "That's how you're going to make them the good guys, right?" They stomp on a cowboy hat.
The West Texas
And it
Rednecks
failed.
featured Minnesota's own Kurt Hennig.
It's weird how all these people that fucking failed in like 2001 came together for this perfect moment.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's such a weird amalgamation of people that were going to fail in like a year.
Yeah, I know. WCW.
The No Limit
Master
Soldiers.
P.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Is it really any wonder that any of this shit failed with these results? But it was memorable. Let's face that fact. It was memorable.
You know what? I know fucking 10-year-old me was probably fired up watching that. That's probably why I blocked that out of my mind. It's like, dude, you shouldn't remember this.
Make crack like this. Make crack like this. Make crack. Make crack like this. Make crack like this. Make crack like this. Make crack.
He's a Master P Mark.
Were you a Master P guy?
Dude, I loved his music. Yeah, fuck yeah.
You have to admit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things when Make 'Em Say Oh came out, or the...
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Bout
like,
it.
Well, that's the thing. So with
I
About
miss
It,
my homies.
I didn't know about it.
Ballad.
I didn't know About It was like a No Limit Soldiers thing because
Yeah.
I was extremely ignorant of hip hop at that time because I was in 5th grade or whatever. But I did know that Conan used to say it all the time when he was with the Wolfpack,
Yes.
and I love the fucking Wolfpack. So I definitely wrote in a whiteout pen on my backpack about it, and walked around the halls of JF Drake Middle School rocking that. And also, I think I wrote NWO as well.
100%. And
To this day, if I have to use any sort of aerosol product, I will write NWO. if it's clean, if it's like tile cleaner and stuff, I would be like NW.
If I see a reproduction WCW title belt anywhere, NWO.
do you guys remember how fucking awesome the hardcore belt was?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry to fucking segue that.
No,
but
no.
Do you remember
got me
when they
talking about
had-
titles? But
Do you remember when they had the big junkyard invitational thing where they had that big battle in a junkyard and everybody got injured? Nobody could tell what the hell was going on.
No, what was that?
You
Explain
never
it.
saw this? They had this thing. It was WCW Hardcore Junkyard Invitational, and it was in a damn junkyard, and it was like people are fighting and they're throwing each other into like bulldozers and stuff,
And cars and
trash compactors and shit, and it's like fucking Thunderdome, and like there's fires and trash
at one
cans.
point,
and,
Hold on, when was this? When was this?
1999.
Yeah.
this was on
It was
it was Halloween. Was it Halloween Havoc?
I have no idea. At one
Maybe.
point, Finley kicks over like a barrel and just flames shoot up.
Yeah. What's his name is big in it? The Sandman when he was the hardcore hack.
Yeah, and Lepart, and they just had every.
I love Laparca.
So they had all the luchadors there because they needed the luchadors were like, we need something to do, so
Yeah.
they would wrestle in this damn.
third favorite wrestler, Laparca, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Chairman of the board.
Unbelievable.
Man, so what did you like about Laparca?
He'd fucking come out with the chair,
Right, but he-
and would dance But even in the video game, if you picked him in the video game, he came out with the chair. So it was immediately you hit him with the chair and get disqualified. No one stopped him. Like that was his whole gimmick. No ref ever caught on. It's like he's gonna hit with someone with that chair. He always hits him with a chair, then fucking danced and then left.
Didn't you go
smart?
Yeah, I
the
did dress like
smartest
Laparca.
wrestler in the business, I think.
Oh yeah,
Didn't take a bump. Just fucking hit people with
did
chairs.
his awesome dance.
Did his dance and then collected like 10 G's and left.
Yeah, and then maybe he would get speared by Goldberg like 3 times a year.
Yeah, but that can be tricky because you see what happened to Bret Hart.
Yeah. What was a kick?
It was a kick,
You have to be in a match. In Bret Hart's case, you have to be in a match long enough to actually get the kick. Normally, the Goldberg match is just the spear and the jacket.
Yeah.
But the Hardcore Invitational Junkyard thing. So everybody got injured.
Yeah.
Everybody. Finley almost lost his leg, I believe. Either his leg or his arm.
Well, they were throwing each other in goddamn. It was like an episode of the Incredible Hulk or something. They're 30, it ends with somebody being put in a car and it gets compacted, doesn't it?
But it's like CZW do that.
Like mini, like it was just like the compactor went like 6 inches, but it was like they threw like Jerry Flynn in there.
I don't even remember who won the damn thing. Do you?
Finley.
Was Finley?
Finley, yeah. I watched it recently.
Is it on the network?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was insane.
Shit.
Jimmy Hart's like standing on like a dumpster, a car, shouting in a megaphone. It's like, come on, baby, let's do it, baby. It's Junkyard Invitation, baby.
He should have been the winner. The only one who was essentially alive. Jimmy Hart.
Well, I think Jimmy Hart gets hit with a trash can.
He can take bumps, man. He really can.
They just like this was like the worst. Like it's just
It was like real life Thunderdome.
It was poorly
or something.
lit, so you don't know who anybody is.
You couldn't tell. It looked like an episode of like some kind
except
of a
for
TV show
except for
or something.
Laparca and a couple other people.
You're like, why is that skeleton moving? Laparca.
Exactly.
It was one of them things like when they did the match in the graveyard with Sting and Vampiro. It didn't even look like something from a wrestling show.
Yeah.
It looked like something that was made as a TV show and they just put it on a wrestling thing. Or like some American Gladiator has gone horribly wrong or something.
Did it look better than when Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton fought in a house of horrors?
That was the worst. That fucking Randy Orton got essentially murdered by a fridge. And then teleported to the arena.
Yeah.
I actually did not see this. So did they show a video or something where Randy Orton stepped into a refrigerator and stepped out the other end and he was in the arena?
That would have made more sense.
That would have been awesome if there was just like the lights went out and there was just a fridge in there.
That would have been.
And Randy Orton's like, I wonder if the light stays on. And he just steps in. He steps out into
like
the arena.
the wardrobe, the witch in the wardrobe.
What was that?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
The thing with talking lions and nerd shit like that.
Yeah, but so Randy Orton's like laid out, and then Bray Wyatt dumps a fridge on top of him, and then leaves in Randy Orton's limo that Randy Orton rode to Bray Wyatt's house, quote unquote. Like shirtless, just riding shirtless in a limo because that's what you do. And I think this is like January, right?
Yeah,
it was like cold.
Like granted, the event was in Sacramento. But
No, it was
Sacramento, but the house was in
San Jose.
San Jose.
But the house was in like St. Louis.
Yeah.
So you could have bought
We
the
drove
house.
cross country with this. With no shirt.
No shirt.
To be fair, there's nothing more liberating than driving without a shirt on.
Well, have you ever tried driving without pants on?
I'll give you that. He does have pants on, but he has on knee pads or elbow pads. Like he's ready for a war.
Yeah.
Well, if professional wrestling tells you anything, if you're wrestling in street clothes or if it's a bunkhouse match or something, you're showing up in your dungarees, you're showing up in your cowboy boots, and you're sure as hell putting knee pads over those jeans.
You could always tell when shit was going down because people would walk out and they'd have like knee pads on their jeans.
Yes.
You ever seen when Jerry Lawler gets, it's like a sick bump, if you will, when Jerry Lawler gets hit by the car that Eddie Gilbert's driving?
Yes.
And you can see that he has like knee pads on underneath his dungarees. But that is, I will say, Lawler will take some bumps, man. Lawler, the one where Joe LeDuc throws him out of the ring onto the table too is insane.
I don't even remember that.
That was way back. That was like 1981 or something like that.
You made it sound like it was like last week. I was like, jeez.
Well, in my memory, it was because I have a bootleg of it.
He's fighting soon, Lawler. He's fighting for, I think, the Ring of Honor Championship against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
What? What?
Yes.
Jerry Lawler?
Yes.
Oh my god!
I
know
swear.
that.
I fucking promise. It's the weirdest shit. Google it.
Even after the heart attack?
Yes, this is like soon. Like, this is nowish.
I mean, Jerry
Unless he
Lawler
already
really doesn't
fought.
have to do that much, right? He just has
No.
to like do that awesome punch that he does.
Yes.
Because he has like the best. Oh my! You're right.
Yeah.
To defend. Oh, holy!
Oh, it already happened.
Okay.
hell!
And he's still
And it's a
alive.
26 minute.
He did a 26-minute match?
That's Memphis Heat.
Yeah, blood feuds, attempted murders,
Ridiculous stipulation.
Oh, fuck.
homoerotic music videos. It's all
It's all part of Memphis.
That's Memphis, baby.
That's a little something for the ladies. You know, brawls that spill out on concession stands.
I
That's
lo-
part of Memphis.
I
People
love how
wearing
you guys-
chicken costumes.
I love how you guys didn't believe me. You guys did not believe me for a second.
Yeah, you
like-
believe the Junkyard Invitational. Yeah,
That's real, right?
Yeah.
No, that's real. It's all too real.
Yeah, a WCW would pull some shit like they.
Yeah.
Well, they would pull anything and just left bodies in its wake.
Yeah, David Arquette was a fucking champ.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, let's cross promote with a terrible movie.
With a bad movie.
Oh.
Actually, wasn't the Kiss Demon part of a bad movie too? Because there was a Kiss movie that was out at the time called Detroit Rock City.
I don't. I guess. but
Oh, was he?
No, it was
Maybe.
supposed to be. It was supposed to be.
Is
a
he
thing.
Chongo?
No, there was.
No, I don't know the character. Was that his name?
There's a scene in Detroit Rock City which I actually fucking love, but I with the caveat that I have not seen it since I was like
I have
16.
not seen it.
Yeah,
I
you don't
almost
wanna-
went to
you-
see it.
You probably hate it now.
I loved it at the time, and there was a scene where they were like trying to basically steal Kiss tickets. It's about a bunch of losers who go to see a Kiss concert and they don't have tickets, and so there's like a little kid in the gas station, and they're gonna try to steal the tickets from the kid. They're gonna beat him up, and then he goes,
Okay, booger, your Kiss ticket or your life?
Please, sir, don't beat me up. I do have a Kiss ticket, but not on me.
Oh, likely story. Now hand it over, punk.
No, really. My brother's hanging on to it for safekeeping. Please, let me get him for you. Hey, Chongo!
"Oh, Chongo!" And then this gigantic fucking dude comes and just fucking kicks the shit out of all three of them.
Is this like set in like the 70s?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
all
but-
right. Because if it was like the 90s, like let's be honest.
Yeah, no,
So it was like that
set in the
70s show.
Yeah.
Everything in the 90s had to be set in the
But yeah,
70s.
it was Edward
God.
Edward Furlong of Terminator 2 fame as the star of the film. Yeah. It was when he was like 18 or whatever.
God.
Well,
poor
actually,
bastard.
the Kiss Demon was supposed to be a crossover because they were going to have a WCW pay per view on December 31st, 1999, and it was going to be a WCW pay per view, and at midnight, Kiss would come on, and it would bring in the new millennium with Kiss. You know?
You say that like it's a shitty thing, but I'm like, dude, that'd be fucking sick. Like,
It never came together, though.
No, they never came together. But like,
But they probably spent a lot of money up front.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Because they had Kiss play on the show, didn't they? They
and it
sang
was the
Gotta-
lowest. It was the lowest rated like moment in the Monday Night Wars to that point.
Yeah, it
and
was
they
a
spent
turning point.
They spent $1 million to get Kiss to
Jesus.
perform, and it was the lowest rated.
How much did DX pay for Motley Crue?
30,
Oh, they probably came cheap.
$7.
Yeah, you know,
They came cheap in them
4
days.
8-balls, and
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, also like WWF at the time was just so fucking good. Like the Attitude Era was perfect. What did you guys hate?
for WWF?
I'm
Yeah,
an
WWF was
older
great.
school guy, but a lot of people were into it. I admit that.
Yeah,
And it was certainly at TV that more people started watching instead of WCW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when I started. I mean, it's funny that your dad got you into it. My mother was and still kind of is horrified
Really?
that I like professional wrestling because she, you know, she's from the South and
Yeah.
she views it as, but she's like, you know, she's an educated Southerner. Like she views it as like what the low people want.
Oh
Like it's
my
like
God.
like the, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think
Gail,
Gail.
I got to be real with you.
And then he's got the hat. He looked like JBL.
I know, you look great,
Jimmy-
Pat.
My head is huge.
Damn, that should be your new gimmick, Pat, because you look like $1 million goddamn bucks right now.
You really do.
Jimmy Carter loved professional wrestling and invited Mr. Wrestling 2 to his inauguration. All right, so yeah,
I mean, My whole family loves wrestling.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, so we Pat and I have like started doing announcing for Brian Kendrick's Wrestling Pro Wrestling.
Congrats!
It's so much fun.
Are tickets cheap?
They're $10 a tip.
Oh yeah, no,
but
I'm down.
But yeah, so very cheap. But the thing is, like, I told my mom, I was like, oh yeah, I got this cool thing I'm doing. She was like, oh, I don't think I can tell anybody about that, but that's good. Good for
Jesus Christ.
She was kind of joking. She's sweet, but it was just very funny. I was like, yeah. But that was when I started watching it. It was like she was like mortified by it.
Dude, my mom loves wrestling. Like I got her tickets for like a Ring of Honor show when it was in Maryland.
No
Really?
shit.
Yeah, and her favorite wrestler was Cheeseburger.
Wait, is that the cousin of Hamburger?
No. Cheeseburger is like
amazing.
He's like this skinny, like black dude jobber. But he has a lot of charisma.
He might be the skinniest guy ever.
Yeah, but
and he brings he has like a stuffed cheeseburger.
Yes, and my mom loved him.
Yeah.
My mom kept yelling cheeseburger. Like she's the only person in this whole fucking crowd of Baltimore yelling cheeseburger.
Yeah. He's Jushin Thunder Liger's favorite wrestler.
Yeah, oh, man.
Was this an ROH guy?
Yes.
Yeah, Cheeseburger.
His name's Cheeseburger.
And he's just skinny and gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah,
and
he takes bumps. Like James Ellsworth.
I was going to say,
that's
like,
compared to him.
He's like
that's Baltimore, isn't it? Isn't he? He is a Maryland guy.
He is a Maryland guy. He has like his own. I think he's a big part of Maryland Championship Wrestling.
He's almost like a new age Rocky King in a way.
Okay.
Except he has this sort of gimmick of like the cheeseburger gimmick where he has like the stuffed cheeseburger and the cheeseburger hat, and he just like is kind of just goofy and really endearing.
Maybe you have to see it to know what's going on.
It's fun. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It is really, like his matches are fun to watch because everybody just hates him. He always goes up against like really good heels. Yeah, so that was my mom loves Ring of Honor wrestling.
And who's your dad's favorite?
My dad's favorite wrestler, might have been Macho Man.
Yeah.
Macho Man, or like I want to say like in the 90s Sting, all time might have been Harley Race.
No,
Harley Race was awesome.
Yeah, might have been Harley.
He was a hell of a man.
Or Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
That's my favorite.
Oh, I
the
forgot.
American Dream.
I don't know how the fuck I forgot about Ric Flair. Ric Flair also was a kid.
Yeah,
I loved the shit out of Ric Flair.
Oh man, yeah, of course.
Unbelievable, Matt. Like unbelievable levels of like shit talking.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because he's now been so kind of co-opted by the larger sports world. Is like
the hip hop community
and hip hop too, of course.
Yeah,
yeah.
We love
when you
Ric
have
Flair.
chops and identifiable noise like that.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, that's right.
I fucking love Ric Flair.
Good
so
wrestler, but yeah, no, it's funny.
But is he better than Harley Race?
Ric Flair has the persona.
Yes,
right? He has the persona, and he had television. He had like cable television to kind of generate him. And Harley Race didn't have those luxuries.
No.
And Harley Race rules.
Yeah.
Where it would just, and people know Harley Race from being like King Harley Race on WWE when he was like
with the music that we use for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but the whole
Harley Race has never done anything in his life professionally since he was 16 except wrestle.
Yeah.
He broke into the business. He had to drive and wash with a mop. Just was it Happy Humphrey, the big 800-pound guy?
What?
Yeah.
Harley Race is like the wrestler's wrestler.
Yeah.
Harley
he had
Race.
to wash another
800 pounds.
person?
Yeah. No, I mean Jim Ross had to drive
Like an
around.
elephant?
Yeah. Jim
He was
Ross had to
800
drive
pounds.
around the McGuire twins and stuff.
Andre the Giant
guys
was driven by that French artist there.
Yeah.
Samuel
Samuel
Beckett,
Beckett.
was, but he was being driven to school.
Yeah.
Jesus. Wow. Yeah. Happy Humphrey is Lordy. That's
And he had
that's
to
a large
wash him
man.
with like a rag on a stick, But
Yeah, good for Harley Race to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to demean that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's saying he entered the business old
Paid his
school,
dues.
like when you was
Yeah.
it's like being a cabin boy on a ship. You got to do
course.
shit like that, and he fought his way to the top, and he got them badass tattoos.
oh
and
yeah,
shit.
he has those like really bad old man tattoos.
Yeah, those I was in the Navy, and I shouldn't have got this goddamn thing tattooed.
and just like he just sounds like an unfiltered cigarette.
Yeah.
It's just like, let me tell you something, Ric Flair.
$1,000
To the man, take the damn money. Anybody.
Take the damn money.
Paul Jones, you and your entourage. Kabuki! I'm just trying to remember. all the wrestlers that are in the organization. He's just like, shit, I can't remember one.
And he looks like he's
Kabuki.
he looks like he's in one of them things. You know when you go to the casino and they'll have some like famous person in front of like a big pile of money that somebody won because he's standing in front of like a platform with like a box
Halliburton
full of money on it. So he looks like he's doing an ad for a casino.
And he's wearing like the cleanest ass Botany 500 suit.
Yeah, and he's putting out a bounty though. And in those days, if you were a champion and you put out a bounty, that was heel shit.
$10,000 bounty.
Back in the lab with the red flag. Back in the lab with the red flag. Loud. Back in the lab with the red flag. Put on your robe or something and do your strut. Do your strut. Put on your robe or something and do your strut. Do your strut. Hey.
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keeps winning and winning and winning. And you know why, Bob Caudle? Because I've got the most positive attitude, I've got the most ability, I've got the greatest physical attributes, and I just happen to be the best.
So did you grew up in Maryland?
Yeah, I grew up in Maryland. Spent some time in the Middle East. Spent 3 years over there, and wrestling was still huge over there.
I was going to ask, where in
Saudi Arabia?
Oh, so you were in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
it's big there too.
Yeah, from like '99 to 2001. Yeah, and it was just like fucking. I remember we were just rock bottom. Like I lived in like I lived in like a compound, which is just like an enclosed neighborhood.
Yeah,
because that was like the safest place to live, and all my friends were into wrestling, and all our friends also like little brothers. So we were just like do wrestling moves on like these kids. When we were like 12.
Yeah.
We were like 12, like stone cold stuttering people.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of basketball games. Just randomly stutter someone and get the ball. Like, it was insane. It was, but I remember we were going to sell like such a weird little teenage heel stable. But we held down this kid so my other friend could rock bottom him, like full fake throwing the armband and like running back and forth across the basketball court.
Do the people's elbow.
And as a kid, you don't know anything about like selling or like holding back for the move, so you're dropping an elbow on someone at full force because we still thought it was real.
Oh yeah, at the time when NWO was huge.
Yeah,
a local, because I grew up in Auburn, Alabama, and our mascot's the Auburn Tigers. A local bookstore started selling parody T-shirts that said TWO, Tiger World Order.
Fuck yeah!
So that was, and I swear, if anybody listening out there, we got a lot of listeners in Alabama. If anybody has an XL Tiger World Order T-shirt,
eBay,
I will pay top dollar for that shit. No one has ever heard of this except for me. But but we all got this T-shirt because we thought it was dope to wear at Auburn games. But then also that became our heel stable, and we would my friend Kevin, he lived up the street. He was like a year younger than we were, and like we were all much bigger.
Yes.
And so we would just show up at his house, and he had a trampoline.
Oh,
and it just we would literally like just roll up on this family like before they were done eating breakfast, and just be like, "Hey, is Kevin home?" And then Kevin would come out. We get the other kids in the neighborhood who are all also younger than us, with the exception of one other person who was older. And then we would just kick the shit out of each other on the trampoline. And I
remember we got like we would spend a lot of time at my grandma's house, her brother and I. And we also had friends that are into wrestling, but we had an air mattress, and my brother was like way bigger than me. He would just do wrestling moves on me.
Wow.
And
you know, I have been the recipient of, I used to get the Superfly goddamn splash every night. I had to take, my brother would jump off a refrigerator and give that to me. He put me in a goddamn Boston crab. He still does shit to me. He still does shit.
Yeah, I've seen this live.
Lunatic fringe garbage. I come home, it's like Inspector fucking Clouseau because he fucking attacks me with this shit.
I remember my brother fucking choke slammed me on an air mattress, and I bounce off it because I was such a tiny kid. I bounce off it, land on my neck on the ground. My neck is like crooked, and he's like, "Yo, just straighten it." I'm like, "I can't fucking straighten my neck." And he's like, "Well, I don't know what to do." And I was like crying because I was like 11, and my neck's fucking. I think it's broken.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, just wear a hat sideways, no one will notice." And as though like wearing hat sideways was gonna offset everything.
That's the most heelish shit ever.
I swear, because he was like, dude, I don't want to get in trouble for this.
Yeah.
And like even to this day, like I can crack my neck now because of this fucking choke slam. Because it was when Kane came out and he's like, yo, this movie looks tight. I need to try this on you. It was awesome though. It was
burning down a house looks tight. I got to try this shit out.
Did you have a name? Like, did you have like a
no,
wrestling
we
name?
didn't even get that far. It was
Did anyone
essentially-
else? Because I fucking did.
What was your wrestling name?
Okay, I know I've never told this on the show because this is fucking embarrassing. So I was the fat kid for sure.
Okay.
And I used to early in the morning I would watch the Sci-Fi Channel, and so when it came,
all your backstory is not helping.
oh well, yeah. So when it came time, I was like, okay, so everybody's picking a name. I completely forgot what everybody else's name was, but mine was Gigantor. Like the fucking cartoon they would show on the Sci-Fi
with
Channel.
the Calypso song.
Yeah.
Gigantic, amazing robot.
Gigantor.
Gigantor.
But I just like the name, but because I was like the
was a
fattest
good
kid,
name.
I was the fattest kid on the block, so I was
Yeah.
like Gigantor, and I had what is now almost exactly John Cena's wardrobe. I had jean
Yes.
shorts, and not cut-off jean shorts, mind you, the fucking hemmed ones that you
Fuck
buy at
yeah.
Sears,
Yes.
the ones that had the hammer loop, like some carpenter somewhere is
Yeah.
using jean shorts with a hammer,
fuck
and
yeah,
I would and they were like my old
Were
jean
they
shorts.
Lee's?
I want to say they were Wranglers from
Okay.
Kmart because
Yeah.
we rocked Kmart. I was a Faded Glory guy.
Okay.
But
The Kmart also sold NWO gear, by the way.
oh yeah, that's right.
They
yeah.
did.
I think I had the T-shirt that Aziz Ansari wore on SNL. Did you see what?
No,
Aziz.
was it the Wolfpack one? Or-
Yeah,
yeah. The
Aziz
Wolfpack
hosted
was dope.
SNL, and then like during one of the cutscenes, like he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Hoobastank," or whatever, whoever it was. He was wearing a fucking Wolfpack T-shirt, and all these people online who are super into the Illuminati thing and didn't know anything, they were like, "Aziz is in the Illuminati." I'm like, "No, that's a wrestling thing, you fucking idiot." But we wore the TWO shirts, and then I wrote
Unbelievable.
in Sharpie Gigantor on the ass of my pants. And my finishing move was the bulldozer, which was just a fucking German suplex, basically.
That's awesome.
But I wouldn't let it go, so I would just like throw him back.
Benoit?
And, yeah, exactly. Like it was like a set of 3, and yeah. And
Did you try to bridge him?
well, no, because whenever we did it for real, we didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
There was no kayfabing, so like it was just me physically holding people down while my friend went 1, 2, 3, because they couldn't move their arms.
Oh, so you were the sit on them guy.
I didn't sit on him. I would. Yeah.
Well, in amateur wrestling, you can use your weight to your advantage.
Yeah.
like
True.
Yeah, but no, I watched my buddy Ryder beat a guy with what we later found out was like an arm bar, but it was just something we thought he made up, where he would just like pull the guy's like wrap his legs around and just fucking pull back.
Cross arm breaker.
A cross
Yeah,
arm
but he
breaker.
applied the damn thing.
Yes, yeah.
No wonder he was winning everything.
It's amazing that like no one got seriously injured. I think.
no, it's something.
I don't know how I'm still alive.
Yeah.
No,
to this day.
My Nerm Sturgis, who's come up on the show before, hit a kid with a golf club during a hardcore match.
That's not a move. That's an assault.
Not when it's the Auburn Junkyard Invitational.
And it was like
the Auburn played against Sports Invitational.
the time we were the time we were the most afraid was when he hit that kid with a golf club.
So he did this golf club spot every time.
No, he hit him in the golf club. He hit him in
The time we were most afraid.
Oh my god.
No, he hit him in the leg, like right in like the meat of the fucking thigh, like right below his ass with the golf club, just and hard too, really fucking hard. And this kid goes down, as you would imagine, grabbing his hamstring and just like, and then he goes, "I'm gonna get my brother," and this kid had like a 16-year-old brother with a car and autonomy that could easily have just rolled up and beaten the fuck out of all of us at the same time.
Like an Ed Nettie and his mysterious older brother.
Yeah,
like that.
and that was like I think the TWO disbanded. Like it was the end.
Oh fuck! That incident led the TWO into hiding until now, and that's why you can't find the shirts nowhere. Because what's the statute of limitations on assault with a golf club?
Well, it's definitely been.
You guys. That means you guys fucking plan to have a hardcore match.
Oh yeah, it was because for a while it was like I remember we got up on the slide like in the backyard. He had one of those little dinky little
tight plastic ones,
play sets.
Yeah, Fisher Price does not recommend you do that with those things.
And we threw like one of the kids we let him do a spot because it was like it's just a melee basically. It was a junkyard brawl. I let one of the kids do a spot on me one time where he threw me off the slide. And like we were like going down the slide and the slide like bent sideways and then it dumped me out and that really fucking hurt.
Jeez.
Yeah, but we had hardcore matches all the time. It was
and you're all still alive.
Yeah.
We never had hardcore. I think the worst is like we would just super kick this kid in the face.
Have you ever seen anybody use a wrestling move, like a pro wrestling move in a real fight?
I've done it.
I've done it. Rules.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Let's all go around. I've done it too.
I'm not going to talk about myself per se, but because whatever. But I remember there was this guy, my buddy Joe, and Joe's a bigger guy, right?
Yeah,
he used to kid with people and tell people he was Samoan. But because he's a big guy, but like real quiet dude, but he was one of those people that had like the thing where he was like the quiet guy that, but when you pissed him off, it would be like, you unleash the
John Wick,
you unleash the fury. And one time there was this guy who on our hall that was kind of like, he was a trash talker, right? And Joe was having a bad day. This guy came in, was talking some trash. Joe gets up and just goes, ah! And he picks him up by his legs and then like double legs him.
Yeah.
Slams him into the wall. Spine buster.
Yeah.
Over into a Texas cloverleaf.
Wow.
And tapped him out. What? This was like an amazing finishing sequence.
Yeah.
But it was like Joe was like holding back, right? He wasn't like full giving someone like a Ron Simmons.
He was holding back when he did all that.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things where it was just like seamless. Like he like was one of those things where it was just like one thing to another, like smooth. And the kid was like, like he was like physically tapping.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he threw him into a Texas cloverleaf. It wasn't a fight, but it was a disagreement, a dispute.
Mine, I think I've said on the show before, so I'll just make it really brief. I was at Boy Scout camp, and outside of we have these like repurposed, like probably Korean War era army tents, and that's where you sleep at Scout camp. But because they're a fire hazard, they all have these two, usually like big, bean cans full of water. They're the fire buckets outside in case they catch on fire. And this fucking kid flung a fire bucket on me. And now I'm wet and I'm just fucking pissed. So we just start brawling and he jumps on my back and like he's like punching the top of my head. So I grabbed his leg, turned him sideways and gave him the fucking Samoan drop onto the hardest, like it was the little pavilion where we had the picnic tables where we play cards. Samoan drop onto cement, knocked all of the air out of him. And he was just like doing the like thing. And I was like, yeah, motherfucker. While we were in high school, that same guy became a professional bodybuilder, and every day I see him on Facebook, and he is jacked out of control, and I'm like, I pray to God he doesn't remember this. I don't think he does. I think we're cool, because we were cool after
You're probably
that.
cool, yeah. I mean,
we're children, so we were cool immediately after that.
As a kid, I realized, like, whenever you got in a fight as a kid, that person you fought with becomes your friend.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or at the very least, like, there
was, like, respect.
Yeah, you're closer with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was yours?
Well, spine buster, I use that quite a bit, and like a double leg. I also like a huge fan of Ric Flair. I'd always stop people before they're about to hit me, and then just kick them in the balls. In the Middle East, I've thrown sand in people's eyes.
A la Mr. Fuji.
Yeah. we would get because it was all desert, so we'd get in these fucking brawls. Especially like when I first got there, I'd get in so many fights because I was like the only American at the school.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, "Fuck you, American," and they'd fight me. So I would like, "Oh no, don't fight me," and I'd fucking throw sand in their eyes.
So you're like the reverse Iron Sheik. Like,
what?
Well, if wrestling is to lead you anywhere, they might throw a fireball in your face. You know?
Well, they learned that from the man from Syria.
I'm trying to think of like the worst is like maybe I DDT'd someone once on the concrete.
Well, that's always lights out when Jake Roberts
I was
did.
gonna say,
Yeah.
that's a
Ask
big one.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
But that also I remember that hurting me too because it was on the street.
Yeah,
And I was like, this was fucking dumb.
Don't
Like,
try this shit at all.
Well, that was the best part about doing that Samoan drop is I had a big old cushion on my back, so
Yeah,
I didn't
that was
feel it at all.
perfect.
I fucking slammed him as hard as I could.
No, but just like a lot of like weird like weird like belly to bellies. Like that was always like a good go to because you want to at least if you're gonna fight, you at least want to get on top of them and like get control. You
It's
know what I
a
mean?
throw, too. It's a throw.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of that
Can
shit.
I actually? I've been wondering about this the whole time, and we keep coming in interesting stuff. So I keep forgetting to exit, but I want to know what American wrestlers were over in the Middle East when you were living there.
The
Like, what
Rock,
guys did
Stone
people
Cold.
like?
It was a lot of Attitude Era shit.
So they like the same guys that we liked over here were over there.
Yes, so that we like my friend he was related to like the Prince of Saudi Arabia was like this fucking morbidly obese 12-year-old, but was like driving an Escalade. Loved The Rock.
He was 12.
He was 12 and he was driving. Like women couldn't drive, but he would take us to the mall. Like we'll get this fucking
I
Escalade.
have the best image of this.
Yeah, he was just like some fat Saudi guy, and he would just
Fat Saudi 12-year-old.
Fat Saudi 12-year-old. Excuse me. Yeah, because we're all 12.
Driving an
They're
Escalade.
driving an Escalade, like taking us to the mall and like being like, "You guys want some clothes?" and just buying us FUBU because he had nothing but money. And
Did he dress like The Rock? Did he do the thing where he
No.
had like the
silk shirt?
Because I imagine like the Versace, like the Hermes print Versace shirts and like the slip-on loafers that are real low pro.
No, he would
and then, like
always-
the short shorts.
Nah, you aren't allowed to
Did
wear
he, at least
shorts.
have, did he at least have a fanny pack?
No, he loved doing like the fucking people's eyebrow and asking if we could smell what he's cooking. Like every time he fucking would come into like a room, he would be like, "Do you smell la, 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 what Muhammad is cooking?" And I was just like every fucking time, even like in the middle of basketball, he would come on the court, never really play, just fucking come and yell like The Rock, people's eyebrow,
Dude, Saudi
and then
Arabian
leave.
basketball rules.
It was fucking unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
People are like
There's no
stone cold
holds
stunning
barred.
each other.
It
No
was
one's in the
ridiculous.
middle of it. Some
no
like
one's playing basketball.
No one,
some
rarely.
rich kid walks in and he's like, "You'll smell what Muhammad is cooking," and then
swear.
just like leave.
And he just
That's his rich kid
and,
promo.
dude, and I swear, and he was super obese, so he couldn't catch. And
so he probably smelled a lot of cooking.
he couldn't catch any of the kids. So my friend and I would have to catch the kids for him, so we could like rock bottom.
Wait, you were the wrangler?
We were like the wranglers.
You were D'Lo.
I was just. I love D'Lo. That neck thing.
You were the D'Lo and the Mark Henry.
Yes.
And you already had a pre-existing neck thing.
Yes.
So,
But like, because we were like, dude, this is our Escalade ride. This guy buys us snacks. The least we could do
buys
is
your
like,
FUBU?
he bought us
You'd think
FUBU.
this kid would like Ted DiBiase
I know.
instead.
Oh my
But
god,
that was a different time, right? He
that was a
could've
bit
been-
before. That was a couple years before.
Yeah, that could have been like his guy, right?
But
That's
the
incredible.
fucking attitude, like I remember we would just throw sodas at each other so we can catch them and bash them together like Stone Cold.
I did that.
And just waste all the soda.
Did you spit the soda like the
Yes.
beer?
Yeah.
It was all over your
And we would fucking do the Triple H with the water bottle.
Oh, yeah.
I remember before basketball games
I'm
we would
really
do that.
good at that.
And doing
Are
this
you?
and
And to
yeah,
suck it?
Yeah,
Suck it's huge
when
still.
I coached Special Olympics during the Attitude Era.
Oh, it sounds
Yeah, and like
amazing.
I used to hang with the athletes because they all watch wrestling. I
Yeah.
watch wrestling, so we talk about wrestling and stuff, right? And they all like they were big on that. You know, every
Oh.
time somebody, you know, the DX
it,
cross
yeah.
chops and stuff. You know,
I
and there
wonder
was
why my mom didn't like this.
yeah, there was one guy. There was one guy, Paul, who was a big like Hulk Hogan fan from back. So he had like the poster of like 1984 Hulk Hogan,
Jacked out of his
yeah,
mind.
yeah, with hair
Yeah.
and the full head of hair, not the skullet. and he would do like the Hulk Hogan like ear thing, the flex routine, the most muscular pose.
Yeah,
he'd do the whole bit, right?
Oh my god, I used to suck it recently in like comedian softball. Is I hit like a line drive to win the game, and I just told the other team to suck it. I was like, just it's so good.
That's what I do when we used to play trivia back at because listen, here's the thing, I'm extremely unathletic, but I'm very competitive, so
fuck yeah.
So I don't ever get myself into athletic contests because I'm gonna fucking lose. But if it's trivia, I'm an asshole. Like I'm a huge ass. And so when we used to win, I would stand up on the tables and shit and do the stone cold like fingers up but facing backwards thing and then tell people to suck it. I just had this memory, and I don't know if I've ever told this on the show, but back to my mom. I remember one time she was just like she was like, oh, you need to get all your stuff ready for school or whatever, and I was just like I can't. She goes, why not? I'm like, because pimping ain't easy. And I didn't know what that meant. I just loved the fucking Godfather, and
good.
And my mother was fucking horrified. She was like, what? Like, because this was before pimpin', like, entered
you
the
know what it meant.
It hadn't really entered the popular vernacular in the way that it has now, like pimp my ride and shit. It was like she just was like, what the fuck did you just say?
She thought you'd been watching Goldie or something.
Yeah, or like, fucking the True Confessions of Iceberg Slim or whatever that HBO show was.
That was a book. What the hell was
Bishop
that?
Iceberg Slim was a writer.
Yeah.
So Pimp
I was
and
talking about like
Trick Baby and stuff like that.
The documentary was like pimps up hoes.
That's what I meant.
Bishop Don Magic Wand.
Bishop Don Magic Wand.
And wasn't there like a pimp called like White Boy who was like the white pimp or some shit?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All this attitude shit makes me realize why my dad just loved wrestling, and I'm surprised he just let me watch it with him.
It was very family unfriendly in that respect.
Yeah.
But I have to admit there were some very very what's the word I'm looking for here? Patient parents, because I did see one time a child making his poor long-suffering mother take a picture of him doing
the DX job. Well, like my mom knew we were watching it, and my mom just did not give a fuck. She's like, you're with your dad. He's not going to lead you anything wrong. And we're just watching like bra and panties matches.
Yeah. Because my parents'
we used to
understanding
watch
of
Benny Hill when I was a kid.
my parents' understanding of wrestling was like what I watched in like when I was like 1992 wrestling.
Yeah. It was like
so
Brutus
my
the
dad.
Barber
Yeah, my
Beefcake
dad's gonna walk in and be like, "So when's IRS coming out?" You know?
The shit I realized like all those dudes in like 90s wrestling were just they had jobs. Like their character was just their job.
That never made a lick of sense to me, too. Because why come IRS wears a suit into the ring? I mean, so when he works out, does he wear a suit, too?
That would be awesome.
It would be, but it never made a lick of sense.
I saw a dude bust out a 440 bench press while wearing a shirt and tie and slacks.
Jesus.
Because I guess he was on his like lunch break or something like that.
Fuck.
And he was just like, shit, I mean, my reps in. Yeah. And he just busted a 440 like bench press.
Pat,
and then stood up and was like, all right, I'm done.
If there's one thing that you've proved tonight, it's that you're privy to incredible feats of athleticism all the time.
Yeah.
Between the NWO Sting guy, the guy who just did all the bench presses.
The NWO Sting?
Yeah, you remember not the NWO Sting, the Kiss Demon. The Kiss Demon who's now throwing people around at baseball games. The fella you just saw, and the other Samoan guy who wrapped that guy around his leg into a clover leaf.
That's
how the hell are you privy to all this stuff?
Yeah, it's the energy he puts out there. He loves watching wrestling in real life. Dude, that's amazing.
No, I mean, we would, no. He was a wrestling fan, too. Obviously knew the Cloverleaf, right?
Yeah.
But,
I definitely gave a...
Yeah, well, giving kids sharpshooters and ankle locks. The ankle lock was the best.
I remember.
I love the ankle lock.
I saw my best buddy from high school got into a fight in like an art class, and he threw a kid into the $1 Million Dream.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, and he just like conked him out. It was just like
any kind of like sugar hole type place where you can just put the guy out like that. If he gets around, that's the best thing you do. That was another kid.
He was obsessed with The Rock. So he like did the whole Rock thing where he would like walk around with like, and he had the low pro like loafers and stuff, and the shorts, and he would walk around
calling people jabronis.
And just calling people jabronis, and just
the Rock was Rock and Stone Cold were fucking movements. Like,
cutting
they
promos on dudes.
Stone Cold sold a hell of a lot of like real tree woodland camo type t-shirts.
Yeah, dude, I bought a Stone Cold t-shirt like a month ago. Like,
which one?
The Austin 316 one with the skull on the back.
Just the classic?
Yeah.
Because I was so happy that he did well, because I remember when I was a kid, I'd watch it. I watched a lot of WCW.
The Ringmaster.
Stunning
Steve Austin.
When
I liked him in that.
When he was like, he had the Chris Elliott hair, and he was and that Chris Elliott gimmick, and
he had Lady Blossom,
and he was teaming with when he was in the Dangerous Alliance, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was just all of like, well, Zbyszko was there, but it was like 4 of my favorite wrestlers in one group. It was like beautiful Bobby was there. Arn Anderson was there.
I love Arn Anderson.
Like Stunning Steve was there, and Rick Rude was there. It was like the ultimate team.
Man, I don't know why you don't appreciate Zbyszko, because that to me is a full house. This team,
I
it's
mean,
like a royal flood.
but the thing was that like I remember from that, and then he teamed with Flying Brian, and I loved Flying Brian as a kid.
Yeah,
and it was just like now like to see him, it's just like it was just like now he's a big star, and it's like, dude, I knew him back when he had hair, and had the little LA Gear gimmicks in his boots.
I always wondered, like when I'd see that, like how big he got with that. I'm like, don't people realize he used to be Stunning Steve Austin? He used to come in with like Ric Flair robes and everything, and not like just jean shorts.
But I mean, he had to change his gimmick after the whole injury. He was like, how the fuck do I do this?
Yeah. Well, you have to do less. Well, I mean, I didn't start watching till like 1997.
So that's what it is.
I came in right when all the shit was
that's
going
perfectly
down.
right, because you got to figure how many kids didn't realize that Hulk Hogan had been like a heel just a few years before.
Right.
Yeah. When it was I guess it's the same type
it was
of thing.
one of those things, right, where it did like it was kind of like it's tough to take the cognitive leap, because there would be times where it's just like, why the hell is Ron Simmons dressed like a gladiator and has a separate name?
That's fair.
Like that's stupid. You know?
Yeah, no.
Like it probably, dude. If I knew that Gold Dust was actually the natural Dustin Rhodes, I would have not been into that gimmick whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, I would have been like,
I knew it was. I knew it was.
Yeah, no.
I knew it was, and I thought it was one of those. They've gone too far with this shit now. But now I go back and watch the promos, and I'm like, holy shit, this stuff was ahead of its time.
Yeah,
but at the time,
so
I thought,
good.
like, because I knew him as the natural, and I'm like, this is
same.
just dumb. They're trying to be shocking again.
I think my dad ruined that for me, actually, because we were watching Goldust, and he's like, "Oh, it's Dusty's kid." And this fucking, I was like, all right, man. Like, okay.
Did you ever go see live wrestling in Saudi Arabia?
No, never.
Oh, okay. I imagine that's probably.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if that's a thing.
They went there. They went to Middle East once. I remember I heard Stone Cold talking about it, because it was just
they
like
went to Kuwait.
They went to Kuwait, and it was like a room full of dudes.
Yeah, and then Vader got arrested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, Vader got arrested?
Oh yeah,
Kuwait?
because it almost became this whole thing where he almost went to jail for like a number of years.
Yeah.
Because they were on this Kuwaiti television show, like kind of their Good Morning America, where it's just like some dude. And
So he slapped the guy?
It was a thing where the guy was just like, and it's like Vader's there and the Undertaker's there, and Undertaker is like just sitting there all stoic, like in his like he was basically biker taker, right? So he wasn't in his Undertaker gear; he was just wearing like biker shit before he was like the American badass Booger Red, right? And the guy's just like, is wrestling fake? And Vader gets up and grabs him by the tie and yanks him up. He's like, you think this is fucking fake? And then he summarily got arrested and almost put in jail for like 4 years in Kuwaiti jail.
Yeah, no, they don't fucking
I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Midnight Express, but it's not just a tag team, man.
No.
So did you see any live wrestling as a kid when you?
No, never actually. I mean, first wrestling show was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Actually,
Oh, no shit.
just a raw there.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just here in town.
Yeah, this is gonna sound so fucking weird, But like for as long as I've been watching wrestling, I've never just been like, oh, I should go see it live.
Same here.
No, yeah, me
You know
too.
what I mean? I just love it on
me
TV.
too.
Yeah,
Me
I was
too.
like, just. But then like I'm like, it's fun live, but it's like football, you know, where it's like it's better on TV. I just enjoy it more on TV.
I've seen more of it like in recent years than when I was a kid. I used to watch all the different wrestling leagues,
Yeah.
but now I actually go to the live events
like
instead.
PWG I went to recently, and that was fucking good.
Well, that's the same for me. Like when I was actually watching it as a kid, we went to one house show in Columbus, Georgia, and at the Columbus Civic Center.
Yeah.
And that was fucking it. And then I didn't see another wrestling show until 2000. I saw 2009 Royal Rumble in Atlanta. It was either 2009 Royal Rumble or 2010, whichever one Edge won. Came back and won. So I got to see Undertaker fight Rey Mysterio, and like CM Punk it was the time when CM Punk was in the ring and he was just talking and he kept eliminating people, and it was fucking great. But yeah, so that was the first one since I was a kid, and now it's funny because I used to go see concerts constantly when I lived in the South. That was all I did. At this point, since I've moved to LA, I've seen more wrestling shows than I've seen any concert.
Wrestling is the best value in live entertainment. They ain't kidding.
Up there.
Yeah,
It is up there.
and there's shitloads of it in LA. That's why this is such a great place to live.
There's so with the Attitude Era thing, I bristled because I listened to the Brian and Vinny show.
Yes, I love him. I listen
I
to
love
him when
Brian and Vinny
I
show.
go to sleep.
And
Tell people who that is.
Brian Alvarez, who was he was an indie wrestler, right? And he
Super knowledgeable.
Yeah, and he was in like the battle of the what was it? The Battle of the Indies, which was the one where like Bryan Danielson and Brian Kendrick became like nationally known because like the Meltzer was in, or like various people were there who were wrestling writers and stuff. But he does stuff, the Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer. And they have a show. He has a show with his high school buddy that he used to wrestle with, named Vince Verhey, who was like the joke was that he was like the worst pro wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
And they watch the Attitude Era Raw and Nitros.
Yes, they do.
And
it's interesting.
I watch it along with them sometimes, and I watch it. And I'm just like, this is hideous.
Yes,
you know? This is really bad. Because outside of like the signs and like the unintentional humor are the best parts of it. And Stone Cold is awesome.
Yes.
Right? Goldberg is awesome. There's certain people, The Rock is awesome, but there's a lot of filler in there.
Like the Disco Inferno?
Well, like, you know, just like, or there's like small stuff like, actually Disco and Alex Wright as a tag team is really hilarious.
I loved Alex Wright.
But like,
his dance was the best, and I remember I would do his dance after I get fist fights.
Wasn't he Das Wunderkind?
Yes.
Yeah. There's like small things.
Speaking of signs, I saw this yesterday.
The one that says WCW HIV positive. Yeah, but like a lot
Razor Ramon going to come out.
Yeah, but a lot of but there's a lot of
It's already there.
There's a lot of crap, right? There's a lot of stuff that's really hideous, and I listen along with them, right? But there was so I watched the one recently.
Yeah.
And there's this hideous segment, this run of hideous segments where Scott Steiner's trying to get out of wrestling his brother.
Yeah.
So he's like doing the thing where he's fake injured.
Yeah.
And he has his doctor come out and talk. And these are like not scripted whatsoever. So it's like falling apart. Like this is prior to Big Papa Pump. He's not out there doing the cool Big Papa Pump stuff. Like freaks and peaks. You know, like any of that stuff.
Can you just do every impression of every wrestler?
But he
it's fucking impressive.
But he
God damn, it's good.
I own a Shoney's.
Yeah, no. I own a Shoney's in Ackworth, Georgia.
We got to get down to that place.
We'll do it for
rules.
We keep swearing we're going to do it.
But it's out of the way. It's out of the way.
Does he really?
Yeah.
He owns a Shoney's in Ackworth,
He built it himself, or at least apparently the Steiner brothers Steinerized, or bulldozed, as most people call it, the place that used to be there.
Steinerized hit him with the fucking Frankenstein.
But
it's a fucking former pizza with a Frankenstein.
This ain't a Pizza Hut anymore.
We're taking
It's the smallest Shoney's thing in Ackworth, Georgia, in the northern Georgia, outside the perimeter. The perimeter and the perimeter of my peaks.
Dude, he had some fucking crazy biceps though.
But this is before he was
absurd.
awesome.
Yeah.
The awesome Big Papa. He was just like, yeah, I'm hurt, and I have an injury, and it's just like, but like he has this doctor who's just basically like the doctor that gave Donald Trump that like bill of health, like you know, just like a total burnout.
You know, what was his name? Oh, damn it, I forgot his name.
But yeah, I watched one where to heal Scott Steiner, they brought out a Jamaican witch doctor, voodoo doctor.
Oh, was that Dr. Ubangi?
Dr. Juju Ubangi. Wow. Played by Buff Bagwell.
I told everybody that really happened.
I know the reference that you kept saying where it's just like when I'd say, yo, Buff Bagwell.
Who's Dr. Ubangi?
Buff Bagwell's great.
Yeah, Buff Bagwell in retrospect is probably the most awesome wrestler.
He was hilarious.
Monday Night War.
Remember the American Males thing where it's just like it looks like a perfume commercial for men?
He's like unintentionally funny at that point, but then like he would do stuff where he would just his comic timing was amazing.
Yeah, it was
where
so
he's
awesome.
just like he would win like by he gets ass kicked and win by like disqualification, and he would be like, I won again, and like flex.
His name was Buff,
and he would do that little sliding dance move and then flex, and then just get like jackhammer.
Yes, it was
he
perfect.
Ruled.
That dance move was the ball.
It was great.
Not as good as Alex Wright's, but
Yeah,
he was just Wonderkind.
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Alex Wright was. Oh man,
Who had
so good.
Berlin? Was that him?
that's Alex
That's
Wright.
him. Yeah,
Who was your favorite WCW guy?
Jericho or Ultimo Dragon. I loved Ultimo Dragon was the shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like I loved all the luchadors. And then I guess when NWO happened, I loved fucking Scott Steiner again.
Yeah.
He was so good in NWO. He was the best.
I loved the Steiner brothers as a kid so much. They were like
Scott Hall, excuse
too
me,
much.
Scott Hall.
Oh, Scott Hall, yeah.
But the Steiner brothers were dope as shit, except when like Rick started getting all crazy.
Well, you know, Scott started to look like Rick.
Yeah.
Because you remember, like, in the early days,
'Cause
Scott
he had long
had
ass
the
hair.
mullet and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and Rick had the facial hair and, like, the lifter look. And then it's almost like gradually he morphed into, Scott had morphed into looking like Rick.
I love
Possessed
listen-
by the spirit of the dog-faced gremlin.
I love listening to
Yeah.
Cornette because Cornette would be like, yeah, the Steiner brothers, like, Scott was the sane one. Like, Rick was just crazy. and which is weird to think about because fucking Scott Steiner's also a maniac.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, even in like those early matches in Japan during the 90s,
Yeah.
that's when everybody lets their freak flag fly, right? Like
freaks!
Yeah, no pun intended. So it's like in like there's a like in the 90s, he'd have the mullet and he'd be
Yeah.
like Scotty, but there's like a thing where he would just be like, "This one's for you, suck my dick," and then he would like, and then he'd give like somebody the Steiner screwdriver. You know?
You remember when they was in the WWF and they were tag team champions? You watch their matches, you can hear him dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
I know.
That is another reason why I like Japanese wrestling too. It's because they just swear in English and it's so fucking funny to me.
Do y'all want to suggest a match, each one of us?
God damn it. Recently, I mean, if you've never seen wrestling and you want to like get into it now or you want to see like its best, I would go Kenny Omega Okada. Any one of the three. Is that too serious?
I fucking hate that Kenny Omega guy. He wrestled a blow-up doll. He wrestled
yes.
he wrestled a goddamn 8-year-old. He should be left out of the fucking business. Never let in.
Whatever the fuck.
I know. It's just like
No, he says whatever the fuck. And
yeah, I know.
He gets very angry.
I know.
so-
But I have to admit, Corny.
What the fuck is up with that? That he comes out and those goddamn young bucks coming out looking like a couple of 8-year-olds in their pajamas, super kicking everybody. Super kicked a fan.
I think about his line all the time where he goes, I've been working out so I can live one day longer so I can take a whiz on his fucking grave.
I
I got off the Sprite and got on the water so I could fucking live longer than you, Vince Russo.
you could do every fuck. It's goddamn impressive.
I have to admit, if Corny ever hears it, though, I've always wanted to just get into a discussion with Corny about Memphis wrestling.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
can talk about that shit.
He loves it.
Until the day ends,
Yeah.
and I would listen to him talk about that shit until the day
because
ends.
the Christmas creature isn't business exposing.
Right? Or the
Oh no, that was
zombie or the
later on.
mummy.
That was late. That was when it was USWA. The best years from Memphis was when Jimmy Hart was there, and it was about Jerry Lawler versus Jimmy Hart. That like 81 through 84.
But
era.
those Okada Omega Omega matches are
Right? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
just
we're
if you've
great.
never seen
The third one is probably the best
We
one.
saw- we saw-
The third one's the best also because it's also like the shortest.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though you can watch them at the long as fuck, but they don't feel long as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw Omega
And
at the
Ishii at New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ishii's awesome.
He's so good.
That was
Yeah.
a great one. Yeah.
Or
no.
check out Cheeseburger if you want to make my mom happy.
Yeah, there you go. Check out Cheeseburger or check out Professional Wrestling on Twitch every month. Yeah, we've been having a fucking wild time calling that shit.
Yeah,
It's
I'll try to come to the next one.
Yeah, it was real fun. We had a couple of comics show up to this one, so we're getting out there.
Long distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. Help me find a party that tried to get in touch with me. She could not leave a number, but I know who place to call. Cause my uncle took the message and he wrote it on the wall.
Tiff, where can people find you on the internet? Sir?
Add Atif Myers, Twitter and Instagram, or listen to the Dayless Losers podcast.
Fuck yeah, do it. Yeah, because it's a funny title. It's a funnier show.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good show. But no, this is awesome. So, man, this is a fucking great episode. Thank you for having me.
You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. Big shout out to our friend Richard Eden, the webmaster up there in the Yukon Territory, doing the hard work at thegoodspod.com. Pat, what should they do when the folks get to iTunes?
Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend because it shows the attitude of gratitude.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, then fuck you.
Hey everybody, Rivers here. A little peek behind the curtain. We recorded this episode about 2 weeks ago, so it was prior to the passing of Bobby the Brain Heenan, which I just wanted to acknowledge because Bobby the Brain Heenan, one of the funniest, most awesome wrestling commentators, managers in the history of professional wrestling. So if you never heard of any Bobby the Brain Heenan, just punch that name into YouTube and just sit back and just enjoy the fun because Brain was one of the funniest people to listen to. Absolutely one-of-a-kind talent. And as far as wrestling goes, I did want to mention, I acknowledged it a little bit in the episode, but I wanted to be more specific. This Thursday, September 21st, Dr. Pat and I will be calling the action at Brian Kendrick's Professional Wrestling Presents September to December. That's right, not September to Dismember, September to December. That's going to be Thursday, September 21st. Once again, that is going to start at 8:30 Pacific time. And if you want to watch it along at home, you can go to twitch.tv/Wrestling Pro Wrestling. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, you can join us at the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. And I highly encourage it because it is extremely silly and very fun. And Pat and I have been having such a blast. And so do tune in for that. We obviously forgot to do a Hall of Fame this week, so that segment will return next time. And Song of the Week this week, I wanted to acknowledge, I mean, this has been a bad week for people I'm a big fan of passing away. We mentioned Bobby the Brain Heenan, obviously, and the other big one, and this was extra heartbreaking just because she was so young, Jessie Darlin, a.k.a. Jessie Zazu, from one of my favorite bands ever, Those Darlins, unfortunately passed away of cancer at the age of 28. So she was just extremely young, and that is such a shame because, man, Those Darlins, it's a band I've seen 4 or 5 times, and every time I saw them, they just tore it up. It was so cool just to see a couple of kick-ass punk rock chicks, not just leading a band, but just commanding a crowd the way they did. They rocked so fucking hard. If you've never heard of Those Darlins, all of their records are on Spotify. They put out 3 full-length albums. They have a self-titled record. I'm going to play a track from that in just a moment. And a couple other records. One's called Blur the Line, and the other one's called Screws Get Loose. So be sure to check out Those Darlins if you haven't already. And obviously, condolences go out to the family of Jessie. And so we're thinking about her. We're thinking about Brain. And we will see you guys next week. Song of the Week this week. The incredible, the immortal, Those Darlins. And this is one of my favorite songs off their self-titled record from 2009. This is called Snaggletooth Mama.
Well, I'm a
sounds pretty good to me. It may be old and may be run down, but it can still run hills of Tennessee. Well, I'm a snaggletooth mama, don't know no shoes. I got a tin room tan with my cornbread daddy right by my side. We do the best that we can. Well, I get my clothes from the local dump. They call it a Flatwood Mall. Folks around here don't know the difference between a dump and a hole in a wall. Well, I go get a difference when the food comes out, and I wear my Daisy Dukes too high. Between the midnight kisses and the front porch sitting, I love my backwoods life. Well, I'm a snaggletooth mama, don't know no shoes. I got a tin room tan with my cornbread daddy right by my side. We do the best that we can. Well, I'm a snaggletooth mama, don't know no shoes. I got a tin room tan with my cornbread daddy right by my side. We do the best that we can. We do the best that we can. We do the best that we can.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.